Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and the puppies, and today I'm going to show you general balance exercises. This is the 10th video in my moderate 10-day whole body wellness challenge. Want to find out more about it? Stick around to the end. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So for the balance routine, you're going to need a chair, a sturdy chair, or a countertop to hold on for balance just in case, and a little bit of room because at the end we're going to be doing some actual moving balance stuff. So let's just start off with a warm-up just to get everything going. We're just going to do 1 minute, so we're going to kind of just go through a couple things. Again, if you need to hold on even with your warm-up, make sure you start off holding on and then you can progress from there. Just maybe now some standing rotation. So we're going to go in 30-second groupings. So instead of using reps, we're going to go for time. So go at your own pace, especially with balance. Hold on if you need to. This is really about for safety. So I want you to get the technique down first. We're just doing some hamstring curls here. And then once you get that technique down, if you're holding on with 2 hands, then you can hold on with 1 hand, then you can hold on with some fingers, and then 1 finger, and then try it without. Now just some heel raises to kind of get those ankles moving just a little bit. And if you ever feel lightheaded or dizzy while you're doing the balance exercises, make sure you stop. And you probably want to check in with your doctor or therapist to make sure everything's okay. So the first one, we're just going to go into a Romberg stance. And so Romberg is just with your feet as close together as you can get them. And then once we get into the Romberg position, we're going to do some head movements. So the first one, we're just going to do head turn side to side. So again, getting the feet nice and close together, hold on if you need to, and then just turning your head from side to side. So this might look pretty simple for some people. It might be simple for some people, but if you have some balance issues, when you're changing your vision with the balance, I'm changing what I'm looking at, sometimes that really challenges your balance. So I would say hold on even the first time, and then if it feels easy, you can let go after that. So then the next one, we're going to be looking up and down. Sometimes this is a little tougher for people. So if you have any neck issues, don't look up too high. Just kind of make those head movements. So feet together. And now I'm looking up and going down with my head. So up and down. And again, if you need to make the movements with your head a little bit smaller, that's fine. And with balance in general, if you want to start off with your shoes on, that usually makes it a little bit easier. And once you take your shoes off, it's a little bit more challenging and it makes those muscles in your feet and ankle work a little bit harder. So that's a way to progress as well. So not too bad. So the next one is going to be a tandem stance. So tandem is really just 1 foot right in front of the other, like you're standing on a tightrope, like you're doing the drunk test. So it's really just narrowing your base of support to make it a little more challenging. Again, hold on if you need to. We're going to be switching feet, so start with whichever one you want, and you just kind of get in this position here. Now, if this is too challenging for you, to modify it, just bring your foot kind of staggered. So starting here, or maybe even starting a little further out, just trying to narrow that base of support a little bit. But once you start feeling like you can really work on it, you can put it one right in front of the other. And again, if you need to hold on to start off with, definitely hold on. Usually the foot in the back gets more of the weight in the balance. So if you have a weaker leg, usually the one in the back, if that's your weaker leg, it's going to be just a little bit more challenging. So we'll switch feet each time. And again, just kind of focusing on the balance here. As you can see, if I move my head a little bit, it's a little more challenging. So I usually tell people starting off when they're balancing, look straight ahead. People tend to want to look down at their feet and focus on one specific point on the wall. If it's a light switch, if it's a painting, look straight ahead and focus on it. And that usually helps you keep your balance a little bit better. If you try and look down at your feet, that usually actually makes it a little tougher. So again, you know, if you don't feel like you can do that full 30 seconds, you can kind of stop in between and reset while you're doing it. Or again, if you need to hold on to the chair the whole time, that's fine. But I always tell people, don't push so hard that your fingers are bending and your knuckles are turning white. You know, if you're trying to do one finger and you're bending your finger like that, then you probably need to hold on just a little bit more. So work your way up to it, and then eventually you'll get there. Those muscles will get stronger, your balance will get better. Balance comes from our ankles, our knees, and our hips. So it's important to work all of those to help everything get stronger. You might also notice that my ankles are moving a little bit. That's just your body trying to find balance. Since the world moves, there's always a little bit of movement in there, and that's fine. You know, it's when you're starting to do this where I'd rather you hold on so you can get that good technique down and then work your way up to not holding on. Even maybe if you have to put your hands out a little bit for balance, that's fine as well. But eventually you want to get to about here. And then again, just looking straight forward, finding that spot on the wall, finding someone else to look at, and just be able to hold that balance. So then the next one is going to go into, we're going to keep progressing. So now we're going to go into a full single leg stance. So it's just like it sounds, you're just going to balance on one leg. So again, if you need to hold on to something, please do so. If you want to start off with your shoes on, that usually helps a little bit as well. And then you can kind of progress from there. So whichever foot you want to start off with, I like putting my other leg behind me. Some people like having it out in front of them. I feel like that's working your hip flexor as well. So if you want to do that, you can. I think this is a little bit easier. Your choice of where you want to put that leg. If you really want to get a little bit more help and you want to touch that back toe down just a little bit, kind of as a little balancer, or I call it a rudder, you can do that too. If you don't really want to hold on, you can try that foot down there as well. The big thing to remember when you're balancing is really squeeze those glutes, those booty muscles, you know, really try and make everything solid and stable, because if I feel like I'm wiggling a little bit, a lot of times that is coming from my hips. It could be coming from my ankle, but if I squeeze my glutes, really kind of set everything in there, then it's going to help keep my balance. You might see then I lift up just a little bit and I'm able to hold that a little bit better. Also with your knee, if you want to unlock it a little bit, you can. I usually keep mine a little bit straighter, but sometimes people tell you to just unlock it just a little bit. And again, definitely hold on if you need to, even if it's just placing your hand on your finger or your finger on it. So something like this, where I'm barely touching it, but that little bit might just help that balance, so I can really focus on activating the muscles I need to activate to keep that balance in there and hold it in a nice steady position. And again, you can, you know, if you want to try putting your arms out to the side for a little bit of balance, if you don't want to hold on anymore, sometimes that helps, kind of having the arms out just a little bit. And then one more on this side. And so now just exercise 3. Nice and focused. Squeezing those glute muscles. Let the ankle move just a little bit, because again, that's just helping you find gravity. And if they wiggle just a little bit, that's okay. So now the next one is just progressing with the single leg stance. So if you've got that mastered, if you're doing well, this one's going to be doing some arm movement. So if you felt like you really needed to hold on with this one, just the single leg stance, this one might not be quite ready for you yet. So you can either kind of modify it with your foot down, or maybe just skip it while you get more. So I'm just going to have my hand out in front of me, and I'm just going to kind of twist my body a little bit. So you can see I have to kind of figure it out first, but if I look straight ahead at you, I have better balance. So I was looking at my hands first, and you could see I was a little more wobbly. So I'm really just moving my upper body. If you can see, my hips are not moving. So I'm not doing this and really cranking on my ankle. Just my upper body is moving with that balance. So make sure if you want to try it, don't turn your whole body. You're just moving your upper body with it. So again, just nice. Hips are staying towards you in the front the whole time. I don't have to make a big movement with arms, but what I'm doing is this shifts my weight one side to the other. So it makes me challenge my balance just a little bit more. And you can see there, I touched my toe down just for a second, found that balance, might have to do that again, and then go back into that twist. If you just want to start off with your hands out, get used to that, and then you can do just a little turn side to side. That works as well. So, make sure you're working your way up to it and not trying the full motion and then not being able to accomplish it. So again, just kind of getting this motion. Again, if you want to put your foot out in the front, that might be better for some people. That might also help with you keeping your hips forward, because now I know if my hips are moving, my leg's gonna move. I can kind of see it out of my peripheral vision. So that might help a little bit with not really moving your hips quite as much. But like I said, I like mine in the back. You can try both and just see which one is best for you, because you might like one way better than I like it. So whatever works for you. Good. And then we'll go back over here and then just rotating. And then again, if I want that foot out there, and then if you want to then even maybe put your foot out to the side, which will challenge you just a little bit more, because now my weight's shifting over to that side. So you can see, you can even, you can modify it to make it harder too if you want. So there's a couple different ways to do that as well. So now the next one is going to be a single leg stance again, but this time it's going to be a single leg stance and reach. So it's almost getting to a little bit of a single leg squat, but not quite. So if your countertop or chair is in front of you, take a little step away from it if you're ready for this. You're going to do the single leg stance, and then I'm just unlocking my knee and reaching forward. So this is pretty close for me, but you can see I'm bending that knee a little bit, shifting that weight forward. If I wanted to go further, I could do that as well. So I'm just now reaching forward and coming back. And if I want to hold it for a second, I can, and then come back. You can see I'm unlocking that knee a little bit, so it's kind of going into a squat, but not really a full single leg squat. So this is kind of a nice progression for that. And then just a little reach and coming back. And you can go a little bit further each time if that feels comfortable for you. See, that last one, I had to work really hard to keep that balance. But again, if you wanted to do something where maybe you're touching the back foot back a little bit. So if I'm here and I have to maybe touch a little bit as I go back, that could be a way to modify it as well. So instead of being completely up, I'm just touching back a little bit and then coming back up. So you can definitely modify it that way as well. Even if you have to then come up and then do a little touch when you're up, and then back, and then touch. So another way to modify that if you want to try it and see how it feels. And again, if this is too much, just take a little break in between, and then you're going back into it. Now, if I was wobbling while I was doing the whole thing, again, probably go ahead and modify it, because if you're wobbling a whole lot, you might end up irritating something else trying to compensate. So make sure you're using the correct form, even if you just have to do this reach with the touchdown each time, or that little bit of movement there. So you can kind of change things up just a little bit each way. I'm going to move the chair out of the way because we're going to start doing a couple other things This one's just going to be a little jump side to side and a hold with it. So again, I'll show you a couple different ways to modify it. So I'm just going to start almost just where I'm not even really jumping. I'm just kind of stepping and holding. So going back and forth like this. So I'm not going fast. I'm making myself stop each time, really focusing on landing, coming just a little hop, nothing too big to start off with, to make sure that you're comfortable doing it, getting the right technique, and going back and forth. If you want to go a little bit more, then you can definitely do that as well. Move that out of the way. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of a hop. So if I'm now hopping and I'm still pausing each time, so I can go even slower to make it harder, getting that little hop and hold in there. And again, without shoes is a lot tougher, so if you want to try with shoes on first, you can do that. And then that little hop and hold. Whoa, little hop and hold. And then you can go from there. So the next one is going to be a single leg heel raise. So this is, again, a little tough. If you want to hold on to something, make sure you're doing that. If you need to modify it a little bit, you can modify it. So I'll show you a few ways to modify it first. So ideally a single leg would be like this, but if you need to use your other foot just a little bit, if this is hard to make sure it's controlled, you can either hold on to something, or touch down and go up and down. So I went a little bit fast with that one, but as long as it's controlled, you can go a little bit faster. But trying to get as high as you comfortably can. So this is one that, make sure you're holding on first, getting that technique down. But again, if you have to have that foot there to get up, you can do that. Nice and slow coming down, or really trying to focus on up and slowing back down. So the up going fast is okay, but coming down, really try and control that coming down. But again, if you need that little extra toe there to nice and slow come down, that's a good way to modify it. And then coming up, whoa, see, and then coming back down. So you can see it's tough, especially without your shoes on. So now we're going to go into a kind of slow motion march. So same thing, when you're slowing it back down, it makes it harder than if you're going fast for something like a dynamic movement. So focusing on that balance, coming up into the march position, nice and slow down, and then up. So you can see I'm focusing on the balance. I'm getting some nice movement on the other side, but really focusing on that balance as I bring that knee up. Again, if you need to hold on to start off with, definitely hold on to start off with. So when you slow things down, it makes it more challenging for the balance, especially if you're not holding on to the chair or the countertop or something. So again, just making that nice, slow motion to really focus on the balance there. If you need to use your arms, kind of opposite arm, opposite leg, that's fine. That can help as well. Or if you just kind of have them out like this. But I like doing really that opposite arm, opposite leg, because that's how, when we walk, our opposite side goes with the other. So now we're going to just do a hip flexion extension, but instead of just for the exercise, we're going to go shorter and quicker to make it a balance exercise. So you might have seen these in some of the earlier ones where you're just going front to back, keeping your balance, but now we're going shorter and quicker. So more of a front to back. So now I'm going for speed. So you can see every once in a while I might have to touch down, but I'm really working the side I'm standing on for balance more than this side, which I'm working them in different ways, but I'm definitely getting that balance for this. So this one you would go for speed, as long as, again, you're controlled. My leg's locked out, I'm making smooth movements even though I'm going fast. Starting to sweat a little bit. Hope you are too, as long as it's that good kind of sweat. And then same thing, locking out that leg and just going a little bit quicker. You can see if I alternate, again, my arms, that a lot of times helps with my balance as well. So shorter, quicker movements. I can really feel that burn on my right leg that I'm standing on. Woo, we're almost there, doing good. And again, if you need to slow it down a little bit to modify it, you can still do the swings, but maybe not as short, not as fast. So you're going a little bit longer and slower. I'm still getting that balance workout on that side, but it's not having to work quite as hard because I'm not using that speed in there. So you can do both. You can try this way as a modification first, and then if you're ready, then you can pick up that speed a little bit. So again, try the different ways, try the modifications. If the modifications are easy, then you can bump it up a little bit. So again, just kind of finding that coordination too is definitely a coordination thing, and getting that nice, quick, short movement in there. You see I have to stop for a second and then get going again. Feeling some good burn in my hips, my knees, and I can feel my ankles working as well to hold that balance. Whoa, got it. So the next one is just going to be walking on your toes. This is going to be a full minute of walking, so if you need to take a break in between, definitely do that. I might walk off into the nothingness. You might see me disappear a little bit, but that's magic. So just going up on your toes, and as simple as walking on your toes. So again, this might not seem like a lot, kind of like walking with heels but not having the heels on, but this really focuses on, one, balance, because you don't have your whole foot on the floor, but it also helps strengthen those calf muscles, which are really important in our balance as well. Those calf muscles come all the way up to the knees, cross the knee joint. So you know, it's a two joint kind of thing, your ankles and your knees, so they're really important to work on. Again, just staying up on your toes. That was 30 seconds. If you need to stop and take a break, make sure you're taking a break. Otherwise, keep on walking. If you want to get a little strut into it, you can, staying on your toes, because we're almost done, so you can just make a little fun at the end workout, and then just try and stay up on those toes the whole time. So there you have it. Those are my general balance exercises. And this is the 10th video in my moderate 10-day whole body wellness challenge. You did it! Congratulations! And if you want to find out more about the challenge, click on the link in the description below this one. And if you'd like to check out other videos from the moderate challenge or the beginner challenge, click on the playlist up there. You can tell the pups are so tired because they've done it all. So remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.